AI is getting scary good at creative things. From beautiful images, videos, and sound effects, to these incredible ASMR videos that just make me question my own reality. But in today's video, I'm gonna be competing against 3 different AI music generators to find out who is the better composer, AI or humans.
I don't want to hear that shit ever again.
And in 3 rounds, with challenges getting progressively more advanced, with judges ranging from family and friends to professional filmmakers and a composer from these Marvel Studios shows, we'll see if we can still compete or if we're cooked. For the past decade, I've been working as a media composer professionally, and seeing what AI has been able to do recently has made me wonder if I'll be replaced. If I lose this challenge, my resume goes out to McDonald's. This is my wife Jen, and she's gonna be the judge for our first challenge. But first, we'll draw 3 papers from this box. These are random film genres, and I must compose 15 seconds of music for each one of them, while Ava tries to generate them from a prompt. And to make things fair, throughout the video, I'm not gonna tell the judges which piece was composed by me or generated by AI. They're gonna have to guess and pick a winner based on how effective it is.
Oh, I'm scared. What if I get it wrong?
You ready?
Yeah.
I typically compose music in Logic using virtual instruments, hundreds of gigabytes of high-quality samples recorded by real players. But because this first challenge needs something a little bit edgy and out of the box, I'll start with something slightly different. So I have this idea that I want to make you feel like you're burning inside an oven. I'll repurpose some unused cello recordings that I did for a past film. This one here in the beginning, in my opinion, is a little bit too clean for horror. We want to take this instrument out of tune. Then we're gonna add heat wave and oxygen, which will make you feel like this note is kind of crunching up and roasting inside an oven. These 2 recordings bend down the notes, making it seem like you're melting. And the finishing touch is gonna be the textural stuff. This sound will make you feel like the temperature is rising. And while I was trying to get super creative with my sounds, Ava just used a simple prompt to make this track. However, it took a couple of tries until it finally got something that was slightly horror-like.
This is horror? Ooh,
yeah.
Spooky season. Ooh. I mean, that was creepy. The second one sounded like something you would hear on like a haunted horror ride at Disneyland. It's just very cheesy in my opinion. It didn't scare me. Okay, first one, second one. That was an easy one. The first one was so much better. It actually like freaked me out. I was like, ugh.
So I guess the spooky points are for humans, but music for drama is notoriously difficult to write well. The first element of this track is one note that goes from beginning to end. It's a pedal tone that serves as the glue. Think of scaffolding on a building. It's not the building itself, but it holds everything in place. Music in this genre kind of does the same thing. Meanwhile, Ava, let's put it this way, wasn't doing too good. I found this instrument in a library called Contemporary Drama Toolkit. If you have a melody that's really busy and it's moving and it's very loud, it's gonna get in the way of the acting and it's gonna get in the way of the dialogue. You're just trying to support the action, not compete with it. This is a great example of how with minimal elements we can achieve something effective, and it's ready for the judge.
Dramatic. But I'm not sure. Oh, you're looking at me like I got it wrong. Okay, all right. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight for sure. Feels like a moment in a symphony or something, but I like it. Oh. Well, now I'm really confused. It was too uplifting. Not dramatic enough. I'm not sure, to be honest. First one, Second one. If you put both of those in a clip from something, then I would think the first one was more serious.
And even though Jen was right, I couldn't help but feel like the AI piece was way better quality than mine. I'm not gonna lie, that made me a little nervous going into our comedy challenge. For this one, I went with a more traditional approach and I came up with 3 different elements. One of them is the classic woodwinds. Plucked strings. And it already sounds kind of ridiculous, but there's a way to step it up a notch. Percussion. Not sure why, but it's really funny to me. Now that we have a finished comedy cue, let's see what Ava came up with. And apparently when you use keywords like funny, comedy, or hilarious, Ava thinks Baroque.
Oh, I like this one more already. The first one was really flat, and honestly, it kind of sounded like a ballroom dance more than the comedy. First one, and the second one. The second one had a lot more depth. It was actually something I could think about in a comedy, and it just had like multiple layers.
Another point for us, let's go. In round 2, we're putting to a test one of the most important skills that composers need to have in this industry.
My name is Daniel. I'm here as a judge today. Yours truly. I am the judge. I can't, I am.
This guy wore a suit just for the video.
I wear a suit all the time, what you talking about?
I'm gonna be writing 30 seconds of music from a temp score against UDO. Temp score stands for temporary score. It's essentially when the filmmaker has a cut of their film and they use music from another movie to make that cut. It's used for reference, to have something to show to test audiences, and its ultimate purpose is to be replaced by the composer who gets signed onto the project, and we have to kind of emulate it. Sounds a lot like what AI is doing, right? Right. For this round, our temp score is this track from the movie Dune. We want to adapt it as if it was like a villain theme, something mysterious that ends in evil. So I started with this simple pad that has a friction-like sound in the top to make you feel a bit unsettled, and I layered that with a few creepy choir sounds. Next up, to find the mysterious elements, I always like to go to classic sci-fi or fantasy for this, and I came up with this piano-like sound that is really reminiscent of those movies. The main melody for this track needed 4 simultaneous layers. 2 of them are sounds coming from this, while the other 2 are sounds coming from that. They're both performed entirely in the Osmos, which is also one of the instruments used in the score for Dune. What a better way to get inspired by this score than to actually use the very instrument that was used for that. And to finalize the track and make it a villain-worthy theme, I added epic drum hits and these high synths. And hopefully you can still hear a little bit of that Dune influence in this, but in a completely new context. But UDO has a big problem in this challenge. You see, a lot of AI platforms have this feature where you can upload a piece of music and you can use that as a reference to generate something new. But the problem is that I didn't write Hans Zimmer's piece. I also don't own the copyright for that music. So it would be illegal for me to feed that into a model like this. They even have a warning before you upload something you're not supposed to. It's funny how that works since a lot of these AI music companies train their models just by doing that. Using artists' music without their permission, their consent, without a license deal, or just simply credit. And if the system accidentally generated something that is pretty much somebody else's work, how is the original artist protected? The entire music industry is fighting this as we speak. And those companies are fighting back, claiming that the way they train their models falls under fair use. But after thinking about it for a bit, I decided to feed my own music to AI for science purposes. And guys, the results were a little bit shocking. And I am not sure anymore who's gonna win this round.
like the amalgamation of many emotions. Yet in my mind, I'm just like, was that real? So the start of each one is exceedingly different. There's a lot of skill in each of these, and I can't tell which one's real. I'm like going crazy. I know how good you are at composing, so I'm like, they both sound like they're very hard to do, but because you're good at it, that means you would be able to do it. So I'm like, I'm not a composer, but I know what strings sound like. And for me, it's like, it's almost too static. And when I say static, I mean like it's too perfect to the point where I'm like, it doesn't feel like it was an actual string instrument. Whenever I hear strings, there's always like some measure of change that I can see. I felt a lot more with the first one. Like I can see the first one. Like I can visualize the first one as an orchestra or a set of like instruments playing it. I think it's the first one.
You're right.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
I love Daniel's perspective on this, and his critical listening skills are pretty impressive, but I was not fully convinced. So I decided to invite another judge, my followers. And I shared both compositions in my story for them to vote. But about 2 hours later, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. And while we wait for my other followers to vote and hopefully shift the balance to the human side, let's get into the third and final round. We're about to meet with Michael Scorcese, one of the composers for Marvel Studios' Agatha All Along. I'm so excited, I'm freaking out. Absolutely mind-blowing to have you here, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Juan. It's a pleasure.
Michael and two filmmaker judges are going to decide the ultimate winner of this challenge, so I can finally find out if I have a future composing. This challenge is 1 minute of music. The prompt was write something that starts in mood A and it ends in a completely different tone. The whole point is that we want to show the skill of the storytelling with music. The story that we're trying to fit is big car chase, main characters trying to chase these bad guys. We see a crash. Slow motion, parts floating around. But the main character that we're following watches this crash happen in the distance, and it turns out it winds up being his wife, and she's dead. Ooh. And if I've learned something about robots, is that they really don't have the human experience. So I'm gonna use that in my approach. I'm gonna build the main riff of this track with short, low strings. I use a lot of synths to make it a little bit beefier. There's a very low sub bass. These two distorted synth sounds. We'll add some nice percussive hits. Something that would be incredibly useful would be the mighty Seaboard Rice. And I think this motif is pretty much the perfect storytelling element that we're looking for, allowing us to evoke the death of the wife by slowly fading it out into nothing. I was thinking of something like, what if like Psycho was an action film? I imagine the main character seeing the crash happen in the distance. And I'm also going to introduce a new palette of instruments that are a little bit rounder and warmer to establish that tonal difference. So the first element I want to introduce is a haunting piano-like sound. I'm not trying to go overly dramatic, but here in the end, I'm gonna add some more strings to add a little bit of emotion to it. But my piece is not yet at a professional sounding level, and we have to fix that before we face Udio. If I'm going to be the robots, I need something AI can't fake. The truth is that no matter how good my virtual instruments are, they will never be as good as working with real humans playing in the same room. So, I'm calling for reinforcements, and I called my friends at the Northern Film Orchestra, and they're gonna record these strings completely live. But in order to record this with live strings, first I need to turn this into actual sheet music so musicians can actually read it. And for that, I'm gonna use the help of an orchestrator. and I called my friend Alex Joaquim, who's worked as an orchestrator in video games like Horizon Forbidden West. Believe it or not, no session musicians are expected to just look at a Logic session and be able to play what's in there. Alex took every single note that I spent hours programming and figured out how to make it playable for humans, taking it from my software into a notation program.
All I'm doing is manifesting the demo. I'm trying to make marginal improvements where I can, just in terms of orchestration. But a demo for me is everything. So I'm listening constantly. This is how it came in as. And this is what it is now.
He adds very specific markings, directions, and articulations, which tell the players how to play in order to get a specific sound. This is like working as a translator, but this time you're just converting computer data into legible sheet music. I would love to keep this accent here, da da da, yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da da. Yeah, da da, yeah, da da. And this whole last section is perfect. This is beautiful, man.
Thank you, man.
And as you can see, the final result is incredibly clean and focused, which is really important because we don't have a lot of time to record this piece with the orchestra. Now that we have all of our scores and parts ready, it's time to send them over to England for review by the conductor of the orchestra, Melvin. Our recording time was just under 13 minutes, so we broke it down into 6 to 8 measure sections, assuming this would make it easier for the musicians to get each part perfectly. We also saved a couple of minutes in the end for any retakes we needed to get to make sure we utilized every minute of our recording time wisely. This could seem a little bit over the top, but with all the money on the line and the respect of everybody in the room, we had to plan ahead. And by this time, 24 hours later, we will be recording from Manchester. Yeah, that sounds great. Guys, on 71, can we start that whole bliss with a super pianissimo going to fortissimo? That's right, Pink Psycho. Let's try to make it a little bit louder.
I think we've got everything.
Yeah, thank you. That sounded great. Holy shit, that sounded awesome. And now that my strings have been blessed with the Northern Film Orchestra players, it's time to finish my track by mixing it in with the rest of the instruments, and as a cherry on top, I called my friend Sab to throw in some textures on her violin, and now we're ready to beat Udio. Here we go. Let's go, option 1. Option 2.
The first one was, okay, it was nice. It had nice elements, but it felt very segmented. It felt very disconnected. There wasn't a human element. But yours, however, it literally felt like there was spirit and life and breath. And I was actually, I was tearing up and oh my gosh. Number two is it.
Yes.
The number 2.
I'm a little bit nervous about this one. His opinion matters a lot to me.
They're both really good and impressive, and it's kind of scary that AI can do that, which is wild.
It's wild, man.
It seemed like the first one, like I was visualizing the stills kind of running through my head. I felt something to it with the style of it, the pacing, like I said. And I'm a first off say that I think listening to it through like headphones through a call is very different than like having it blasted in your face on speakers as well, or seeing it over something. I'm gonna say that in my defense. I think the first one is the one you made.
Oh shit.
Am I right?
No.
No.
No. We might not win this challenge, guys. Damn.
The first one felt a little jerky. Like the drums sound kind of crisp, but then there's other things that are very like artifacty. Sometimes some of the sounds that are triggering, like they kind of stutter when they enter, it sounds off. And then it's also just like missing the feel. And especially like when film scoring, when you're having to like shift tones like all the time, it might be like too noticeable for that. But you don't want the music to take you out. It should feel natural of how it like segues from one thing to the other. You sort of feel it in your soul. And like the second one that, it's, I think the phrasing, the expression, the first one is lacking that. And it's just kind of this motor.
Wait, tell me, what do you think? When I started this challenge, I thought it was just about winning, proving that I'm better than the machines. But sitting here now, after all this, I think it's much bigger than that.
Music is a shared experience. Like there's energies, there's frequencies that are flowing. You share that with the people around you. That's the biggest problem or lack of with AI, is that you can have this music and it might sound cool, but who are you gonna share it with?
Think about everyone involved in the recording session. The orchestrator, the conductor, engineers, musicians who've spent years learning their craft.
AI, it's to create future opportunity and to get people real jobs and pay people and make it something bigger.
This is an entire ecosystem of people who choose the uncertain path because they believe art matters. And AI doesn't need any of them. It generates in seconds what takes us a lifetime to perfect.
At the end of the day, we still need a human intuition and experience behind these things, because otherwise it's just going to be a regurgitation of, what we've already heard.
When the strings started playing during that session, that wasn't just notes. That was 20 human souls breathing my music together.
Literally, AI cannot replace the breath of life that a real composer provides to music, period.
And that's what I'm fighting for. Not just my career, but for everyone who deserves to make a living doing this. And for the next generation who should get to dream this dream.
So it sounds like the first one is the AI one, and the second one is real.
Let's go! That's me! Thank you.